Gloucestershire and South Gloucestershire are counties with a rich and vibrant past. Their captivating history is celebrated in the area's many museums and heritage centres. They tell the stories of everyday people, bringing to life the archaeological, industrial, social and cultural heritage of the region. Many of these organisations rely on the work of volunteers, people like Elizabeth from the Cheltenham Museum and Art Gallery, Mike from the Bristol Aero Collection at Kemble, Naomi from Thornbury Museum, and Paul, who helps with front of house at the John Moore Countryside Museum.
This entails being at the front desk, taking the money, answering questions, talking, of which I do a fair bit when people turn up, which they don't always do.
The work I do is very Catholic. Anything from painting the toilets to working on restoration of aircraft, taking visitors around. I tended to take on responsibility for the models in the collection, so I look after the model room and do a fair bit with my wife of photographic presentation and any odd job that people want doing, really.
So I do a lot of work with schools and outside the museum, outreach work, but I also do environmental monitoring and exhibitions, so I try and do as much as I can because that works for me. But if people are only interested in old photographs, they can come in and just work on the photographs, or you know, if they're interested in old objects and things, or archaeology. It's totally up to the individual, the amount of work they want to do, and the sort of work they want to get involved with, really.
I have a fairly wide brief. I have been working mainly with the social historian through those years, and at the moment I'm cataloguing and sorting out a huge collection of social history artefacts.
The amount of time that people give to their voluntary work varies.
I come in the last Saturday of every month, and I've been doing this for the last 8 years plus.
I do Thursday mornings as one of the volunteer team.
But normally I come in one day from 9 to about 4.
I come along here on a Thursday like today. I arrive at 11 o'clock in the morning and I go when everybody else goes in the evening.
I come in 2 or 3 times a week for a couple of hours at a time.
It's on average about once a month perhaps for about 3 hours.
There are many reasons why people choose to volunteer at museums and heritage organisations. Take the Dean Forest Railway.
A lot of people have come to us, especially in the 90s. There were a lot of people who took early retirement, and the social side is very important. If you suddenly find yourself out of work for whatever reason, coming to an organisation like this at times can seem like being at work. You just don't get paid. But the social side and the involvement with tools.
Pam chose to volunteer for Concord at Filton.
I volunteered to come here. I saw an advertisement in the Evening Post for volunteers to show people around this beautiful plain, and as I was born in the generation in the 50s when Concord was built, it was always my wish to fly on Concord. I did manage to fly on her just subsonically, which was a great thrill. And that's why really I volunteered here. My husband was born in Bristol, just down the road in Filton, so he also saw Concord being built, so it's just a love of the plane really.
For Nicola, undertaking voluntary work is helping her gain valuable work experience.
Volunteering is the way that you get into the museum sector. If you want to work behind the scenes in a collections management or a curatorial role or anything like that, then you have to volunteer first. It's, you know, before you even get on the first rung of the ladder, you have to have a considerable number of years under your belt.
There are many benefits to be gained from voluntary work, as the following experiences show.
Gives you some
something to aim for. You know, if you are like myself, retired, probably you wouldn't be doing anything else. You'd be just thinking, oh, what can I do today? But at least with volunteering, you're doing something for the community and for yourself.
The general interest of the work is good, and also the fact that I'm working with a group of people, a team, who work very well together, and of course are rather than younger than I, which makes me realise what's happening in the outer world, generally meeting people of a wide range of interests, really.
It's something that you fit into your schedule, and it keeps you going. We're all probably, I should think the majority of us are now 70 plus, and it's something you can do for the rest of your life. You know, you'll never be short of anything to do.
I've been on a lot of training programs on handling materials and producing labels and all sorts of things like that, all new skills. And I do enjoy meeting the visitors when they come. You know, everybody's new to Winchcombe. I never get tired of telling people about things because I find it so fascinating.
I think for me and a lot of the volunteers, it's a social thing as well. I mean, we do have a really good laugh, and it's nice that you can make friends and meet people who have the same sort of interests. So it's not just purely for me to get as much experience as possible, but also because I just enjoy coming. It's good fun.
To many museums and heritage organisations, volunteers are essential, but they are not always easy to recruit.
This museum is run entirely by volunteers, so we don't have any paid staff at all. And if it wasn't for the volunteers, we wouldn't have a museum. Because all the work that's done here, everything from maintenance, putting exhibitions together, taking care of the collection and the archives, it's all done by volunteers. And
the museum couldn't run without the volunteers, and unfortunately seem not to be getting younger volunteers coming in. So as we're all getting older, we can't do as much as we used to, or as much as we'd like to do, and we do actually need new blood.
If you would like to make a difference and meet new people, then why not volunteer? We'll leave you now with Frank. Thank you for listening.
Wherever you volunteer, whatever you volunteer to do, and you start putting your heart and soul in it, you get a lot back from it. You get a lot of pleasure, a lot of knowledge as well, and you can impart the pleasure and knowledge to other people. Makes a happier world.
Recorded and produced for the Valuing Volunteers project by Joe Williams, Volunteer Curator at Wootton Under Edge Heritage Centre. The project was funded by Renaissance South West, Gloucestershire County Council and South Gloucestershire Council. If you would like more information on volunteering in a museum or heritage centre, then please contact Julie Reynolds, Museum Development Officer at Gloucestershire Archives, Clarence Row, Alvin Street, Gloucester, GL1 3DW. Or you can get in touch with the organisation you are interested in volunteering with, or contact your local volunteer bureau.